Jealous Podcast. How you doing, John?
I'm doing great.
You're doing great. It is Friday. We're recording this on a Friday. We're
Yeah.
recording this way early.
We're rolling right
yeah,
now.
we're doing a really good job.
I'm digging it.
I'm digging it too. Yeah. So, who are you jealous of this week?
Jealous of Brandon Bingham.
Why?
He just spent a week in a mountain.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a lot up there. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot more to just spending a week on a mountain, but I'm jealous of that week on a mountain.
Yeah, it sounded pretty dang incredible, and I saw a couple photographs and gorgeous.
Yeah, like Appalachian Trail type, like lodge thing. It was.
You saw more than I saw. I just saw green rolling.
Well, that's what that
I thought
is.
mountains
It's the
were
apple.
sharper than that. These just looked like.
There's a lot of different types.
You know, I think that he said he went to a mountain, but maybe he just went to maybe like a mid-sized hill.
So like Northwest Iowa, like
Yeah.
the bluffs.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty jealous of him too.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's a lot going on.
Who are you jealous of most, though?
This week, can I just say someone named Caitlin Clark or not?
You got to give a reason.
Well, now that I know even more about her, just what a gal.
Yeah.
Well-rounded.
She's
family comes
Yeah.
first with her. And
Yeah.
I think that is so cool.
And you can definitely tell that's where her roots are, and that's kind of what's driven her to be who she is now. And
Yes.
and she happened to be our guest this week on the Jealous Podcast.
She was our guest, and she was a really good one. She was a gracious guest. We threw some rapid fire at her. She handled them like a pro.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
She's inspiring kids. That's
She
I mean,
is.
if there's one thing I took away from her, though, it was just that, one, she embodies the Iowa nice while being the ultimate competitor, but she knows when to turn it off. She can just be normal human being. She doesn't, I think she looks at the world with a great perspective. So
Yeah, and at 20 years old. I don't want to even talk about what I was doing at 20 years old. So let's not.
I
And
was
let's just
not
get-
nearly as accomplished. No.
Let's get right into the episode and avoid that awkward, topic.
There we go. Let's
All
do
right. Thanks. Enjoy. Well, welcome to Jealous Podcast, Caitlin Clark. Wow. Now, everybody here knows you. Everybody listening probably knows you. But I want to know who you are in your own words.
Oh, that is a tough one to start with.
It is.
Oh, man. Should I pick a few words to describe
Hey.
me?
it. Whatever you're
However
feeling.
yeah.
Oh, I think, number one, I think passionate. I think no matter what I'm doing, I think not only basketball, but really whatever I'm doing in life, I think I do it with a lot of passion. I think that's just who I am, what I've always been like. I think I'm passionate about basketball, passionate about school, things I'm doing in our community. I think I'm passionate about energetic. I think I'm always bring a lot of energy. I think you could definitely ask my teammates and my coaches. I'm a very fun one to be around. I like to have fun. I think I'm good at balancing, when to be serious, but also when to have a good time. And I think Coach Bluter really appreciates that sometimes. She's been around the game for a long time, so
Yeah.
trying to keep it fresh, keep her young.
Never seen one like
I
this
know.
before.
Oh, and then another word, man. I don't know. I think those two really describe me the best.
Yeah.
I think I bring those to all aspects of what I do, really.
Yeah. Well, as a fan, I think I would agree with that. And then we have John here.
Yeah.
And we have John who's extra jealous of you, Caitlin.
Very much. I mean,
So-
who pulls off the Jordan shrug and just like, no big deal, goes viral with that? I mean, not everybody gets to do that.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't think I would ever do that in a game, but sometimes things just happen on the court, and I think that's kind of just who I am. You feed off the crowd, you feed off the energy, you feed off kind of how the game's going, your teammates, and then you do things like that, and people love it. So,
Yeah, and you're somebody I've gotten to know dating back to your freshman year of high school in my previous job, and I just remember watching you grow, so to speak, through interviews, through your basketball game. But I've always said the one thing about you is you compete at one of the highest levels I've ever seen. Like, it's a next level. And so that's one thing I've always been jealous of, is just that tenacity to go chase down whatever you're going after, whether that be a high school game, USA, whatever. So it's pretty inspiring to watch someone as young as you mature that quickly and really take it on.
Yeah, I think certainly. I think, growing up, my parents knew I was super competitive from a young age. I'm not sure they always loved it. When I was young, I really didn't know how to control it. I was so competitive, really, no matter what we did, not just sports. If we were playing a board game at home or like even in class at school. Like I was super competitive. Sometimes my teachers would have to talk to my mom like, you need to figure out how to calm this girl down because rocket math is not that serious. But it was to me.
She threw bows.
I
She
had
threw
to
some
win.
bows.
I didn't want to lose rocket math. I didn't want to come in second. So I remember like I just was heated whenever I would lose and they had to talk to my mom about it. But I think that's something I've learned to control and balance. And I've kind of just always had that competitive spirit, but also been super confident in myself. And, you know, that's not something every female athlete has. I think that's something a lot of people struggle with. And, you know, I'm not going to say my confidence is perfect all the time, but I think that's something my parents kind of instilled in me at a young age, is just to be confident and go after whatever you're doing. And I think that competitive side just comes out when I'm doing that.
Helps to have a couple brothers to bring it out too, right?
Certainly. I think they know kind of the buttons to push to bring it out in the worst way sometimes. But no, I think, you know, they made me who I am. Certainly my older one, and then I probably picked on my younger one a little too much. But you know, it was fun growing up with them. And then I had my mom's family kind of lived here. She had 6 siblings, so
oh wow,
our family was super close, and all the boy cousins happened to be my age too. So
Nice.
I would just get picked on, and any family event, Easter, Christmas, I would come in crying. I think all my cousins were super annoyed of me, but now they're like my biggest fans. All the parents were like, "Oh, Caitlin's crying again," but no, I just wanted to win. If I didn't have the most Easter eggs, I was mad. So
oh, that's amazing. Hey, I had a bunch of boy cousins my age, but I didn't come out of this a star basketball player, so I need to talk to them and see what they
didn't
did
pick on
wrong.
you hard
They
enough.
didn't. I guess not.
So how did you, I mean, I remember talking to you after you chose Iowa. You had a lot of great schools offering you, but what was it about Lisa Bluter and Iowa that made you say, this is where I want to play my 4 years of college ball?
yeah, like you said, I did have a lot of options, and it was really hard. I think early in the recruiting process, it was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. Like all these schools are recruiting me, like UCLA, Notre Dame, Texas, Florida, like all these crazy places that would have been so fun to go to and whatnot. Kind of the brand schools that you see always in Shields or Nike's promoting their gear or whatnot. So I did take quite a few visits, but I think at the end of the day, what I really loved about Coach Bluter is, you know, whenever I went on my visits, the staff and the girls, they just got along so well, and that it wasn't a show. Like now that I'm there, like my teammates are my best friends, and that's not what it is every place else. So I'm very thankful for that, and I think, you know, obviously the school aspect of it was important, and I think really anywhere I was going to go, I was going to get my degree and get a great education, and then, you know, being close to my family, I think you could tell, like, my family is very important to me. It always has been, and I wanted them to be able to come to my games, so that quickly ruled out a lot of places that were recruiting me, and that was hard because those were cool places.
Wow.
They had great basketball programs, but, you know, being basically an hour and 40 minutes from our home here, they're basically at every single home game. I don't think they've missed one yet. They come to a lot of road games, obviously, because playing in the Big Ten, a lot of schools right around here. So I think that was a really big one for me, too. I could come home on the weekends, watch my brother's game at Iowa State, go to his football games on the weekends. So I think that was kind of the sealing the deal for me.
I love that. Well, I want to back up. I'm sorry, John.
Yeah,
but I
no,
want to
you're
back
good.
up. You said why Iowa. I want to know, you're competitive in rocket math and Easter egg hunting. Why'd you choose basketball?
Yeah, so I grew up basically playing every sport. Like I
Right.
said, I was super competitive. Soccer, basketball, softball. I did tennis for a little while. Did track in middle school. You know, I just wanted to do anything and
Yeah.
everything. And then in high school, I just did soccer and basketball. I did soccer my freshman and sophomore year. I played varsity, and I was pretty good. I honestly probably could have gone on and played in
Oh my
college,
goodness.
but I didn't I loved it. I loved being around my
Yeah.
teammates, but I didn't ever work on my game outside of
Sure.
soccer, just because soccer in the spring is in the spring here in the state of Iowa for high school, so it
Okay.
conflicted with AAU basketball. And I knew basketball was my future, so I ended up giving up soccer, which was a very hard decision, and I still miss it.
Yeah.
But no, I think as time kind of had gone on, I kind of knew basketball was for me, but soccer and basketball were definitely my favorite growing up.
Amazing. Hey.
So do you still play soccer at all? Like
I do
you
recreation?
can
not.
still whoop your butt.
I
in soccer.
probably
know,
could.
she
I
probably
actually,
could.
When I first got back here to Des Moines about a week ago, I went to the Dalian soccer game. They were playing Johnson at Dalian. I'm like, oh, I was sitting there with my mom. I'm like, I miss this. I went to go
Aw.
because they still have the same coach that I played for, and he's an awesome guy. He does a great job with those girls. So I went over to watch them play, and it was just fun. I was like, I just miss these times, with your best friends in high school, getting to play soccer. But
Yeah.
it's all good.
Were you a goal scorer in soccer too?
Yeah, I was the forward. I scored a lot of goals. It was super fun. Our teams were really good, actually. Dalian usually has a good team every single year, so it was a good time.
The physicality probably suited. You probably liked a little bit more of that physical side of
That's a
soccer
good
to get
point.
that out, because basketball, you kind of get
Funny you
fouls.
say that, because I was probably a little too physical. I got a yellow card here and there, but no, it was good. I think that's just part of soccer, being physical. It is basketball too, but I think if you even watch boys soccer, it's super physical, much more than girls soccer. But I think just getting out there, getting to run. The only thing I did not like about it is it was outside, so you'd have to play in the cold, the rain.
Yeah. Those are
Basketball,
really,
nope, you know what you're dealing with when you're going into the game.
constant temperature.
Yeah.
We love it.
Fan of 67 and comfortable.
I love
right?
it. Best.
That's awesome. So I mean, the other thing about going back to the Iowa side of things, I mean, you being an Iowan, how much did that play into it too, of representing your state, staying in state, being as highly touted as you were?
Yeah, I knew the state of Iowa supported women's basketball and really women's athletics in general really, really well. I think, once I kind of got to Iowa City and really started living it, I really started to appreciate it more. Obviously, I think this year much more than last, just because last year we didn't have fans, but you could still kind of feel that support just through the community, and social media obviously is a big part of it nowadays. But obviously this year, I mean, we sold out 3 times back to back to back, which is incredible. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
In women's basketball and really women's athletics in general, really no matter what sport you're playing. So that was incredible. I think just being out in the community, and I'll go places even now that I'm back home, but people will come up to me like, man, it was so fun watching your team this year, and they just love it, and it just brings so much joy to people. So I think that's the coolest part, just getting to put a smile on people's faces. And obviously the little kids you get to inspire that come up to you all the time and are waiting for you after games. I feel like I was just that little kid, so it's almost weird to me in a way. But, I was a huge fan of women's basketball growing up. My dad would take me to a lot of Drake games right down here in Des Moines, just because we lived here. It was the easiest thing to get to. So, we went to a lot of those games growing up, and I just loved every single part of it. So it's kind of weird I'm in those shoes now.
Yeah.
But it's been amazing.
I love it. And I love watching the games, and it pans the audience, and it just shows, it zooms in on those little girls, and they're just watching you, and their eyes light up, and they're so excited. How does it feel to know that, man, you are their icon out there?
I mean, it's incredible. I think, just our whole team in general really can feel that impact, I think. When you have a sold-out crowd and you see all those little girls, and there was a ton of girls just swarming the court after we won, and we were celebrating when we won at home, when we beat Michigan. It was like, oh, my gosh. But, it's been incredible, and I really try to make time as much as I can to, sign an autograph, sign their ball, sign their shirt, or just give them a high five or take a picture, because that makes their whole month or year, and it takes 5 seconds of my time.
Aww.
So no, it's incredible, and I think our team is the perfect role models for those young girls. Not only great basketball players, but just great people. Do good in school, care about the community, and I think that's kind of just the program that Coach Bluter has really laid there, and that's what she cares about, and those are the type of people she recruits.
And one, what's the craziest thing a little kid's ever said to you after a game? And two,
Say the darndest
do you
thing.
see a little Caitlin Clark in the stands almost when you're going through those?
I think certainly I can see a little Caitlin Clark. I don't know about the craziest. Usually they don't talk. They're so starstruck. I'm I promise you I'm not that cool. But usually they're so shy and shaking. I think the weirdest thing is people want me to sign their arms and their skin. I'm
You're gonna wash that
I'm
off.
are your parents sure? I'm please tell your parents I say sorry, because this was not my idea. But
Is this permanent marker?
I know, it's I'm
Mom.
signing them with a Sharpie. I'm
Sign my forehead, Caitlin.
She finds out who it is. She's
but
okay, that's all right.
No,
That's
I think
hilarious.
I was totally just that little girl, and I wanted their autographs too. I wanted a picture, and it made my whole year when I was growing up.
Definitely.
So I know how it goes.
Definitely. When I was little, so I'm from a small school district in southeast Iowa, and we had a basketball tournament over in Kyoto. I don't know, does anyone know where
Sigourney
Kyoto?
Kyoto.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
And Kirk Ferentz's one of his kids was playing, and so he was there, and I went over and I got his little autograph. I got his autograph. I still have it.
Do you really?
I do have it. And but that took guts of me to go up and ask this full-grown man, and I'm like, who is it? I think really my parents really wanted it.
I know. Sometimes
who is
the
this
parents
guy?
are hey, go get her autograph.
Autograph. I'm like, all right, can I have your autograph?
Yeah.
Do you ever get starstruck? With all the people,
yeah.
places you see now?
Yeah, I think especially when I see NBA and WNBA or professional or famous people tweeting about me or appreciating my game, or when I have a good game. like, that's still really cool to me. Like, I still
yeah.
feel like I'm a young kid, like, idolizing them. And I still do idolize them. Like, they're some of the greatest people to ever play the game. So, yeah, I definitely still
So, like,
get
when Katie
starstruck.
was on that podcast, he's like, man, that girl Caitlin Clark, man, was that kind of bizarre, like, strange to you?
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, is he really talking about me? But Katie has been a fan for a while, and I think the thing I love about him is he supports women's sports like no other. Like, he invests in pro teams, he shows up to games, he's watching games, like, he knows how it is. So it's not just me. Like, he really, I know he just invested a ton of money in a women's professional soccer team, I think in Philly.
Oh, wow.
Like, he doesn't just talk the talk, but he, like, walks the walk about supporting women's sports and talking about it and showing up to games. So I think that's what I really appreciate about him. But yes, it's very cool to see him talk about me.
Who was your idol growing up? I mean, men or women, because there are a lot of great women's basketball players that kind of paved that way as you were growing up too, but the men too.
Yeah, I think my cousins played at Dowling, so, like, close idols, like, I idolized them in a way.
Yeah.
They went to Dowling, and then one of my cousins ended up playing at Creighton for a while. But, like, professionally, I loved Maya Moore. She played at UConn. Then she went to play for the Minnesota Lynx, and I actually went to a WNBA game in Minnesota with my dad, so I got to see her play live. She doesn't play anymore. She's done playing basketball, but she was, like, my favorite. And then, man, I loved Dirk Nowitzki growing up. I'm trying to think who else. Oh, man. That's hard. I mean, I love Steph, but he's a little more recent. I wouldn't say I wasn't, like, young at the time.
You're still young.
That's true. That's true. I wouldn't say I'm old, but, like, I'm talking, like, 10.
Yeah.
Obviously, Katie. I've been a Katie fan forever. I'm trying to think who else.
I mean, when people make that comparison, when you're throwing logo threes up and they're saying Steph Curry 2.0 of the women's game, like, I mean, does that resonate with you? I mean, did you think that, I mean, I'm going to put David Eichelt's words into frame here, but he says you transcend the game a little bit. And I think that definitely is true in the sense of you're changing the way women's basketball is kind of looked at. It's always kind of looked at as, yeah, there's a lot of threes, but it really funnels through the post. Now we're seeing you pulling up with 3 defenders on you from a logo, and it's very different.
She's like,
yeah, what's the big deal?
What's your point?
I think, it's super cool. And honestly, like, if you would have asked me before my college career started, like, would I think it played out like this, I probably would have said no. But at the same time, like, I have super big goals for myself, so I'm not sure I could see it being any other way at the same time. But I think, like, the range and the crazy shooting has kind of just came with, like, me developing, like, getting stronger, really consistently lifting and getting in the weight room. So shout out to our strength coach. She'll probably be mad if I don't give her a shout out here. But no, and I really haven't loved the weight room in high school. I never did. I never really took it seriously. But then when I got into college, like, it's just so important. And, I'm not the biggest person, but, just finding your strength in little ways, I think has been important. But, it's crazy to think about people calling me Stephen Curry 2.0 because I don't feel like that just because he's so incredible. I go and watch him on TV, and I'm like, how? Like, how does he make that? Like, it's just so wild, and the confidence he plays with. But, I think it's fun. I think, those exciting plays, that's just who I am. That's kind of what I did in high school to a level. It was kind of different, obviously, but, I just love hearing the crowd roar. I love hearing, getting them into it, waving my hands, clapping. Like, that's just who I am.
You feed off of some of that negative energy on the road too.
Yeah.
I think was it the Nebraska game where they're getting into you and you're giving it right back to them.
My gosh, I think Nebraska probably doesn't like me the most out of anybody in the world.
It's Nebraska,
but no.
You're not wrong.
I honestly love going. Somebody's like, "Where's your favorite place to play other than Carver?" They asked me this the other day, and I'm like, honestly, like, probably Nebraska.
Lean into
like,
it. I love that.
Pinnacle Bank Arena is super nice. Like that, it's in a fun place to play, and they get a lot of fans too. I think they had 10,000 when we went there this year, so that was fun. And at the time, I think had just lost, or they're undefeated. They had just beat Michigan, so that was a huge win for us. But no, their fans do not like me for some reason. I think there's like a fine line of like, getting into it with the crowd, having fun, but at the same time, it's just the competitive spirit. And at the end of the day, you can leave all that on the court, and I'm really good about that. But sometimes like fans can kind of cross the line. So I think just being able to appreciate the women's game for what it is and letting them be competitive and show their emotion, because that's what makes it so fun. You know, you don't want to watch players that are just stoic and straight-faced the whole time.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't want to watch that.
Yeah.
Maybe people do. I guess I'm my own person. But, no, I think it's fun to get excited, get into it with the fans. And at the end of the day, like, you know, that's just part of the game. And you're going to respect your opponent when you step off the floor, respect their fans. And, you know, that's just how it goes.
That's cool how you say that. That's really cool how you say that, because a lot of people could say a lot of different things. But how do you deal with that when you're on the bus, you know, riding home, and you're kind of thinking through that? How are you dealing with that and like flushing that negative out? I'm sure some of it stays, but how do you deal?
Yeah, I think, you know, when you're an elite athlete, you just kind of have to expect that there's going to be haters and people that don't always like for you or root for you, or they want to see you fall. And I think kind of from a young age, my mom told me, like, when you're at the top, people want to see you fail. That's just how it is, no matter what you're doing in life.
It goes back to the whole
Jealous thing.
jealous thing,
Like,
right? They're jealous.
Yeah, when you're at the top, people want to see you fall. So I think, you know, having a small circle and surrounding yourself with people that really want to help you succeed and be your best every single day. And, you know, when you're an elite competitor and you're performing at a high level, there's always going to be those people. So, you know, don't listen to them because they don't really know the real you.
Yeah.
They don't know all the work you've put in, all the time you've put in. You know, just trusting that the small circle you have, your teammates, your coaches, your family. I think just leaning on them for support and just listening to what they have to say and just being true to yourself, really.
I love that. It's like the saying, what is it? If they've never been there, don't ask them for directions.
Exactly,
You know, you don't need that.
Yeah.
For sure. And I mean, do you see the stuff on Twitter that on both ends?
I think this year I've done a really good job of, well, this past year, I guess it's over now. Like turning my phone off when I don't need to be on Twitter. I think that's kind of been a learning process, especially after games, just because so many different people want to speak their opinion, and they can speak whatever they want. Everybody has their own opinions. That's fine. But I think, like, you don't really need to read that at the end of the day. Like, all that matters is what's in your locker room, your coaches, your teammates, and, you know, just being able to turn your phone off, debrief, and give it a couple days before you get back on social media, I think is something I've really learned to do. And I think it's been very healthy for me as well.
The way we view jealousy here is we brought you on because we are very jealous of you in a few different ways. I mean, I am not an athlete, if you can't tell. And I know it may be hard. But we use it as motivation, and we want to sit you down and pick your brain. So who is that person that is out there, or people that you are jealous of, that you just think, man, like I'm inspired by them, I'm motivated by them, I want to know how they tick, I want to know how they do it. Do you have that person?
Ooh. Well, I think I would say Coach Bluter, honestly. Obviously, like, that's a very easy, like, I know her, so that's, like, an easy one for me to say. Just because, like, I feel like not only does she build great people, but great basketball players, and, like, what she does for our community is tremendous, and how hard she works at getting to see that up close. Not everybody gets to see that, but, like, she's always in the office working, watching film, recruiting, blah, blah, blah. I mean, she just puts in so much time, and I think she's a great role model for us. Like, you know, if you want to get somewhere, you have to put in hard work, and, you know, she always preaches that, and she always says, be where your feet are, and she knows no matter what you're doing, give it your all. I think that's very important, too. So, like, if we're going to take a hard test, she wants us to be 110% focused on that. Don't worry about basketball, but when you're at basketball, don't worry about school. Just give it everything you got in the moment you're in. So I think that and what she's been able to do at the University of Iowa and just what she's been able to build, I think is incredible. So ever since I've got there, it's been like an honor just to really talk to her and learn from her. And now she's basically like my second mom.
Yeah.
In a way, I spend more time with her than my actual mom.
Yeah.
So, but I think, oh man, somebody that I don't even know. Serena Williams. I think I'd go with her. She's like probably my favorite athlete overall.
Yeah.
Non-basketball athlete for sure. I mean, she's a mom. Has great business. Like, she does great things in her business life.
Yeah.
And then obviously an incredible athlete. So I think kind of her. So she would be somebody I would want to sit down with and just like talk to.
That's great. That's great. And I love what you said about your coach. I mean, we find ourselves finding so many behind the scenes like themes on this podcast so much. And I think with a coach like her, people could look at her. I mean, they don't have to know that she's in the office. They don't, because she doesn't have to. She doesn't have to do any of those things. She really, I mean, she's built herself and she's built this empire and this legacy, but she does. And I love to hear it directly from you. So it's very, very cool.
Absolutely.
I mean, do you feel like, as you keep getting older and as basketball and life keeps going on, what do you want your legacy to be? I know you've got a lot of life in front of you still, but like, I mean, your legacy is kind of already started between Dowling and your 2 years at Iowa, both on and off the court. What do you want that lasting like legacy to be for Caitlin Clark?
Ooh, that's such a good question. Oh, man, I'm only 20. I don't know.
I know, and I know that's a heavy question.
No, I think, you know, being somebody that can inspire the next generation, I hope there's a lot of little girls out there, and even boys. I think there's still a lot of boys that come up to me and still want my autograph or want a picture, and I think, you know, why not? If little girls are going to go up to male professional athletes, why can't boys go up to females?
Definitely,
you know, I think that's something that's really cool too. But, you know, I think being able to inspire them and just get them excited about the game, and, you know, that's really the reason you play, because you love it and you want to inspire the next generation. So I think, you know, just kind of paving that path and making it easier for girls, getting more support for women's sports. So the next generation that comes up, you know, maybe they're playing in front of a sold-out crowd every single night, or people just can appreciate the game even if it doesn't have logo threes in it all the time or things like that. So, you know, I think that's kind of the biggest thing. And, you know, obviously I still have another 2 years, so I think there's a lot of ways to go with that. But, you know, I think just bringing excitement to women's sports and showing that it can be fun. People can come to the games and really enjoy it. And I think, you know, this year we really showed that. I think the way our whole team plays together, you know, and I think people can tell how much we love one another while we're playing. Like I said, they're my best friends, and maybe sometimes that's not the best thing because we hate getting mad at each other when we need to get mad at each other. We're a little too nice sometimes, but no, I think, you know, we wouldn't want it any other way, and that's what makes it so fun. And I think that's part of the reason we are so good, is because we are so close on and off the court.
Yeah. And I have to ask, who's the player that you are excited to see next season that you want to go toe-to-toe with? Kind of ties back to that jealousy a little bit, but you're probably not jealous of them. They might be more jealous of you.
On a different team or my own team?
Different. Well, I mean, is there someone you want to go toe-to-toe with on the Iowa squad?
I think the only person I've met that is as competitive as me is Kate Martin. I mean, she is competitive, but if I had to pick somebody else on a different team,
And I'm not going to let you say like Paige Beckers or anybody like that, even though.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm trying to think of somebody in the Big Ten. That's tough, honestly. There's so many good players. I would have said Veronica Burton. She plays at Northwestern, but she graduated. She's in the WNBA now. That's hard. J.C. Sheldon from Ohio State. I'd probably go with her. She's a really good guard. I'm going to pick a guard here just because that's who I really match up with. She's really good, so I'm going to go her.
Was it tough this last year? The National Player of the Year award was very highly contested, a lot of arguments on both sides. Was that hard this year, and how does that motivate you?
Yeah, I think, you know, being able to appreciate everything you've done and just, you know, our coaches kind of preach, like, it's huge to just be a finalist for that award as a sophomore. That's pretty incredible. And, you know, obviously you're a competitor. Anybody that's a finalist wants to win the award. That's just how you should want to win the award. That's just how it goes. But I know there was a lot of discussion about it and a lot of back and forth. And, you know, there was
a lot of it,
There was great cases for the both of us. And it's super hard to compare the two because Aaliyah obviously is a post and I'm a point guard. So it's like, how can you even tell
apples
who's
to oranges,
right?
Yeah.
And she plays on the best team in the country. So there's that going for her. And, but, you know, that's healthy. I know Dawn Staley kind of talked about this when she was talking about the discussion between both of us. She was like, you want there to be a discussion. That's good for women's basketball. So I completely agree with her there. Like, you want it to be kind of a battle. And, like, that gets people excited. That had Twitter talking. That had the community talking. Like, that's what you need for women's basketball. So it's okay to have that. But I don't think it's something that, like, I'm upset about that I didn't win. I still think it's amazing, you know, being a finalist. But I think it gives you something to work even harder for and want to achieve.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. My gosh. Should we do a little rapid fire with you?
Go, give her some rapid fire,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I already asked my first one. And John already asked my second one.
What?
But that's
What was the
totally
second
fine.
one?
Which basketball player are you taking one-on-one and beating?
Oh.
I want to see you go against Kate Martin now. Like, I think that would be fun.
Kate would probably come in here and tell you she could beat me. I bet.
Okay, I believe it.
Should we have her call in? Should we call her?
Yeah, we should. I have a lot of strength, or she has a lot of strength, but I'm probably a little fast. I'm faster than her, but she's strong. Like, she's a bigger guard.
Yeah.
I'm a small guard. So
You're a small guard? How are you a small guard?
Small guard. My body, I'm skinny. I'm tall, though.
You are tall.
For point guard. I'm tall. But she probably would tell you. I bet you would be close. I bet you would be close. You know,
Okay.
she's strong. She'll just back me down. That would be fair.
You got to go to Monica and get some tips on how to handle her then.
I know. But I'd probably say her.
All right. I love it. Are you an early bird or are you a night owl?
Night owl. I'll have to be an early bird this summer. We have early practices and stuff. So
How early are we talking?
7 a.m.
That is early.
Yeah, it's too early for me.
That is too early.
What time's the alarm normally set for Caitlin Clark's world?
I like that.
Well, during school, I'd probably get up like 8:30 every day, depending on when I had class. I had 8 a.m.s twice a week, but other than that, probably 8:30. But now that I'm home and I have nothing, I've been sleeping until like 9:30 every day. I feel like
Embrace it while you can.
I feel like a bum when I get out of bed. I'm like, I wasted half the day, Mom. Why didn't you wake me up?
No, that's your body telling you need it. Trust me.
It's been good.
What is your favorite season and why?
Ooh, I'd go fall, just because, I love summer and I love winter, but just the two combined. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. Football, basketball is just starting up again. It's my favorite. Outside is just so beautiful. It's definitely my favorite.
I agree. Look at us. We're just
exactly one of the same.
Exactly the same. Yep. Is Iowa nice real?
Absolutely.
Why do you say that?
Easy. I think the biggest thing, whenever announcers or people come to call our games, they're like, I went out to lunch or I went to dinner. They're like, everybody's so nice here. I'm like, yeah, it's just how it is. So I don't know any different. I just think everybody's nice. But I've grown up in Iowa my whole life. I still live here, obviously, in Iowa City. Iowa City is a great community. People love each other there. So it's been fun getting to interact with the community. But I think absolutely, I've never, that's just who we are. We're great people.
We are. We say ope a lot and we're nice.
Ope.
I know.
Around the corner. Oh, sorry.
I know. I
My
do
bad.
that all the time.
I do too. I think people think that we're BSing, but we're not.
Yeah.
We're not.
I know.
We were just my first word. Just kidding. All right, you're going to a nice restaurant. Are you ordering chicken? Are you ordering steak?
Steak, no
That's
doubt.
right. Corn fed, baby.
Yeah.
We love it. What's your biggest fear?
Oh. When I was younger, I was terrified of cats. I can deal with them a little now.
A
little.
I don't really love them anymore, but I do not like cats.
Why?
What freaks you out about them?
There was this really mean one on my street growing up. So its name was Jinx, and it was black with green eyes, and I just did not like that thing. So to my neighbors, if you hear this, I'm sorry. Jinx just wasn't my favorite.
Jinx went missing. We have no idea what happened.
Yeah.
So you tell all the roommates, no cats allowed, right?
Heck no. My roommate, I'm roommates with Kylie, who's on our team too.
Yeah.
She would never get a cat. I think she knows I don't like cats. I'm a huge dog person.
Are you a dog person?
Huge dog person. We have a golden retriever at home.
Oh man, the all-American.
I know.
What's his or her name?
Her name is Bella.
Oh
yeah. She's a massive golden retriever though. She's 115 pounds.
We have an office golden retriever around here. Chevy.
No way.
Shout out to Chevy.
You didn't bring him today?
Well, Aaron, what's up?
What?
Come on.
He
Next
is a tank, and he is so sweet. We need to have them meet sometime.
They have the best personalities, though.
They really
Golden
do.
Retrievers are the best.
I had one growing up, and man, he was my best buddy. He was definitely my dad's best buddy. So, oh my gosh.
How old's Bella?
She just turned 6.
Okay.
I know.
Awesome.
It's
So
crazy.
she's getting to that good. Well,
She's
she
calming
always
down
been
a little.
calm?
Yeah, she's been a really good dog. She trained super well.
Nice.
But yeah, she's a lover.
Nice.
She's we call her a gentle giant. Probably would never hurt a fly. Won't even take a treat out of your hand. You literally have to force it down her throat.
That's fine.
She's the sweetest dog ever.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And what hidden talents do you have?
Ooh. Honestly, people always ask me this. I never know what to say. I think I'm good at baking and cooking. I don't think people would think I'm very good at that.
In the
I don't know
kitchen.
how much about cooking, but definitely baking.
You're
I love
baking's harder than cooking.
Yes.
homemade brownies.
Really?
Well, my mom's a very good cook.
Okay.
I always grew up with her cooking and stuff. So it's kind of just all I've known.
Yeah.
I grew up with an Italian family, so my mom's a very good cook. But yeah,
What's her favorite dish? What's the favorite dish that she makes for you or your family?
Chicken parm, probably.
Oh, yeah.
that's like what I asked for when I'm coming home.
Nice.
Yeah, she probably eats like way more healthier now. Like not as much like pasta and stuff. Like she eats like a lot of salad now that she doesn't have as many kids home.
Yeah.
But like that's probably my go-to. Like when I'm back home, chicken parm.
Did she give you the recipe for chicken parm so you can try and replicate it in college?
I kind of like know it. Kind of. I always text her like when I'm in school. I'm like, "How do you make pasta sauce again?" And she's like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, I'm like, "Mom, I just forgot." But no, I honestly like I missed her cooking. That was like the huge thing. Like I really missed when I left. Is like I kind of took it for granted how good of a cook she was, and like having a home cooked meal every night. So it's nice that I'm back now. Yeah. I get a lot of that again.
Who's the better cook between you and Kylie?
Me. Kylie is a terrible cook. I'm sorry she hears this, but like she will admit it. Like. She hasn't, I think she's cooked one thing. And other than that, it's like she'll just go and make like ramen noodles or pasta or mac and cheese. She's also very picky, so that doesn't help the situation. Okay. But that's
is there a food you have to like stay away from?
Honestly, not really. I'm not a very picky person. I don't like mushrooms. I don't like anything like super fancy. Like I kind of just like the basics, but I don't know. I'm not picky, really. I'll eat basically anything.
So brownies. Have you made brownies for the team? Because otherwise, I think you might have some teammates that are mad at you right now.
I don't know if I've personally made them for the team. I made them chocolate chip banana bread actually once, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is so
chocolate
good."
chip banana bread. Yeah,
it was so good.
I have 6 black bananas just sitting in my.
You need to make
my
it.
Gosh, I do. I'm like, that was a failure for my.
But my mom, whenever she'll bring stuff up after games, and my teammates are like, "What's your mom bring?" The coaches now are actually like, "What's your mom bringing to us?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, Mom, the coaches want some stuff." But no, it's been good. Like I think everybody's had my mom's brownies, and so which I make the same ones, but they love it. My mom always brings up stuff, and everybody steals it all. It's supposed to be mine, but it doesn't end up being mine.
Well, if you just get sick and tired of this whole basketball thing,
I know.
You just.
Me and my mom will start a restaurant. That's what we'll do.
Bakery restaurant. We'll be there. We'll be first customers. We'll taste test.
Yeah.
Anything you need us to do.
Have you guys
we'll do
over?
That.
You just need to start that in the NIL world right
now.
Just start making money off your brownies right now.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
I mean, NIL.
My mom will make them, and then I'll just sell them.
Hey, fine.
I'm just kidding.
That's basically what I did.
The Caitlin Clark brownie.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, that's a moneymaker right there.
They're good. Trust me.
All right.
So I got to ask, NIL, how has that changed the game for you?
It's been crazy, honestly. It's crazy to think that, like, I shouldn't say it's been crazy, because I think I've done a very good job of managing it, and I think you have to. I have a group of people that kind of help me and work with me. But I think it's crazy to think it's been going on for a year now, and I think, everybody at the University of Iowa really does it the right way. I think, being involved with things that you want to be involved in, I think that's been the coolest part, watching, like, certain people, like, give back to certain charities or give money certain places or donate their time other places or get involved with brands or companies that kind of align with them. So that's been cool, but obviously Hy-Vee, I've done stuff with H&R Block, done a lot of merch stuff. So all of that has been really fun. Like, it's been cool to kind of like I've said, like, I feel like it's better business experience for myself than really like getting a degree almost. I'm getting like first world experience. Obviously I'm getting my degree too, but I joke like it should count as my internship hours.
Like absolutely
definitely should.
But no, it's been fun and it's been cool. I think it's something that should have been done a long time ago, just because it seems like a very basic right of any human. Like if you weren't playing sports at the University of Iowa, you could have gone and done a deal with Dunkin' Donuts or whatever.
Right.
Like it was just that's just the NCAA rules at the time. So I think it was the right move to kind of change those and I think if you do it the right way, it's been very beneficial and really cool to watch.
Yeah.
If you had to make your own brand, what would it be called? What would you make it? Like, would it be like, I mean, you've got the KDs or you got Kobe's. Would it be like?
Well, I think like CC22 is like it just works well. Caitlin Clark. And I wear 22. Like that just sounds good together, like CC22.
Well, maybe we need to get a shoe deal going for you then, like the CC22s.
I always say, and I always everyone here has probably heard me say it, but do you watch the 30 for 30s?
Yes, I do.
Did you watch the Soul Man episode of it's Jordans and then
no.
I don't think I've seen that one.
You guys have to watch it.
Okay.
Is it on the shoes?
Yeah, it's about the guy
I think I might have seen this actually.
The guy behind the Jordans, and then he went and worked for Adidas for a little bit, and it's all about
This was
finding
really early in
LeBron.
the 30 for 30, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's a few years old. It's so interesting. It's so interesting. I think you guys would like it. both of
Actually, I
you.
don't know if I've seen that, but I think in The Last Dance they mentioned something about MJ's shoe deal and like how they only valued it at like X amount of dollars, and he like just exploded and made all this money. But like they didn't pay him that much, and he was worth like so much more, and like his shoes just went crazy.
Yes.
Are you a shoe fan then? Do you collect?
I don't collect. I have a lot of shoes. I have a lot of like kind of like trendy shoes, like Nike shoes.
Okay.
My mom gets mad when I buy new pairs, but like here's the thing, my mom loves shoes too, so I probably get it from her.
Yeah, you do.
She says the shoes tie the outfit together, so I'm like, whenever she's like, Caitlin, you have to stop buying shoes, I'm like, Mom, you have no room to talk, and then she just laughs.
Open up the closet.
Yeah.
What is this?
I know,
Just,
I know.
Present her with the
But
evidence.
honestly, like we get a lot of shoes from Iowa, basketball and tennis shoes, so like I don't need to buy shoes, but you know, everybody needs some good pairs of shoes. It's just
Are
how
you a
it is.
Jordans fan then, or are you like when you pick your shoe for basketball? Do you go the Kobe's? Do you go the Jordans? What is your shoe?
Recently KD's.
Okay.
His latest one, those were very comfortable. It's probably my favorite. They're almost like a mid-sole one, so they weren't low, but they weren't high. So like kind of protected your ankle a little more. I had quite a few pairs of those this year. I honestly loved the Kobe's, but like ever since he died, like everybody's just collecting them and they're absurd prices. Like that's just how it's been. And then Vanessa, his wife, and Nike kind of stopped their partnership for a while. So then they went up even more, but they've restarted it again. So hopefully those prices will go back down and they'll be able to get more out. It's like they weren't even producing any either. So it was just hard to get your hands on them at the time. But those were probably some of my favorite growing up. I wore those at Dowling quite a few times. But I really like KD's, Kyrie's shoes. I've always loved too. Those are probably my top three, I would say, and those are all Nike.
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
Very cool. Transitioning over into not shoes but shirts, we had Laura Biggins from the Vinyl Studio, and she talked about the shirt that she designed, the Caitlin Clark shirt, and just said nothing but wonderful things about you and your family.
No,
so
she's awesome, and she does a tremendous job. She's very creative. That's one thing I'm not, is a creative person, and I will admit that. But no, she's very creative, and she's been fun to work with and create some stuff, and seems like people really loved what we've done, so it's been fun. And me and Monica made a shirt together.
Was it her sailing a pitch over the home plate catcher?
I'm going to get that printed on a shirt, but that's going to be a one-of-one just for me. And I'm going to show up to like a media day wearing that.
everyone's be like, what?
I know.
I want that.
But no, we made like they call us like the law firm, Caitlin Clark.
I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sold out like this. And then
Really?
we restocked it again, and it sold out again. And then we just cut it off because it was just like craziness. But we'll probably come out with another one next year, but yeah, it was cool. People loved that one, so that was fun for me and Monica to do together.
Have you seen anyone wearing it out in public?
Yeah, I've seen quite a few people wearing it actually. There was like a Title IX. It's like the 50th anniversary of Title IX coming up this year, and there was like a walk right before school ended, and like 3 people had it on there. I was like, somebody wanted us to sign it, so me and Monica signed it. But
awesome.
Yeah, no, people love it. It's been fun. I know Spencer Petras has one. He's a big.
Does he really?
Oh yeah, he wears it all the time. Iowa quarterback, big fan of ours.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love it. I love how you all rally around each other too. That's something that's very, very cool to see on social media and everywhere. But you guys, I mean, a common theme in this whole episode has been family, and I can tell how much value you place on your family and those relationships. So that's really, really cool to see. And you clearly that carries on into your teammates and your schoolmates. So
absolutely. I mean, I basically view them as family.
Yeah.
I mean, you spend more time with them now, like, because I'm in college, I spend more time with them than my actual family. So they better be like family to you, or else you're not going to have very much fun.
That's right. That's right.
So what's next for Caitlin Clark? What's coming this summer? I mean, besides Iowa next fall, I mean, you've got USA basketball. You've been a big part of that over the years. I mean, how does that expand in your life as you get older too?
Yeah, so USA basketball. Usually I do that basically every summer. I've done it 3 summers now, but this year is like kind of like an off age group. They rotate like events, so I'm too old to do anything that they have now, and then they just don't really have anything that I could do. So I will not be doing any USA basketball this summer, which honestly will kind of be nice to kind of just have a break and get to be in Iowa City and kind of just be a normal kid for once and work out with my team. So you know, it's fun to travel the world and do that all summer, but at the same time, like, just to have a break and, like, really enjoy your time with your teammates and your friends and getting to work out and play with them, I think I will really appreciate. So that'll be a good time. So I'll basically be in Iowa City from June 13th to about first week of August.
Okay.
2 months of workouts together. So we'll lift, we'll play pickup. We get like 4 hours of on-court time with our coaches a week. So we'll like do 2-hour practices a week, which is, you can get a lot out of. And, we basically get right to it. Coach Bluter does not waste any time. She's been doing it for quite some time. She knows how to get it done. So, those are fun. We get to get our new people on campus, which is really fun to get like your freshmen there. And then we have one transfer coming in. So kind of get them acclimated and get to know them a little better will be fun. And then, I'll be right back into school before we know it. It'll be my older brother's senior year at Iowa State, his last football season, and he'll be earning his master's. So try to go to as many games as I can to watch him. And then my younger brother will be a senior in high school. So, he'll be doing senior pictures, but I still view him as a little baby. Like, I don't see him. He's turning 18 in June, and time goes so fast. That's one thing I would tell people. Time goes fast.
Yes.
So just enjoy every second.
On that note, we always ask our guests to leave us with a piece of advice. So this could be about anything. What Rodney said the other day, life, love, or otherwise. Could be about anything.
I think for me, like, this is what I always tell people is, like, just dream big. And I think that's kind of always what I did. Like, I always had that up in my room. And, growing up, my parents never told me I couldn't. I grew up playing sports with the boys. They never told me I couldn't. People didn't like it. I remember I won MVP of the boys basketball league. And parents were mad. A girl won MVP.
Sorry, boys.
Of the boys basketball league. So, I grew up playing with the boys for a while. But I think, I always had the dreams and aspirations to be a professional athlete and, have people watch my games, play in front of sold-out crowds. So I think, if you just dream big and work hard and don't let anybody tell you can't, like, you can accomplish so much. Like, sky's the limit. And, I still live my life that way. I don't feel like I've accomplished everything. I still, I dream big. I still want to accomplish a lot more. And, I think that's kind of the biggest thing that I live by.
I love it, and that is applicable in anything you're doing.
Absolutely.
So great advice. And thank you for coming on and talking to us. This has been great, so much fun. It's been nice getting to learn a little bit more about you. It's steak, guys. It's not chicken. It's steak.
And
obviously.
chicken parm.
Chicken parm.
Yeah.
Chicken parm.
Not just chicken. Chicken
parm. Chicken parm and steak. What do you pick there?
Oh, that's so hard, honestly.
Gotta throw it out there.
Half of each.
There
There you go. I like it. Well, yeah, thank you
Nice.
so much. Rooting for you big time. I know everyone in
Definitely.
the office is a huge fan and really looking forward to seeing what you and your teammates can do next fall and into the spring and chasing down Big Ten championship and hopefully an NCAA title someday.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me on. It was fun. I
Yeah.
love getting to talk.
It's a good
awesome.
time.
All right. Well, thank you both. Bye.